No, thanks for being here. And just another great day and another great opportunity for the University of West Florida football team to grow and just continue to add great young men to this program and this university. Very excited about this class and who we were able to really attract to our program. And, you know, one of the things that we've talked about throughout this process is what's it been like now that you've played, and what was it like having recruits at games. And that really created, I think, the buzz and the atmosphere that we found when we were in the high schools, when we were talking to coaches, games being on TV, games being played at Wahoo Stadium, really generated, I think, the excitement to the level that we're at right now. And, you know, all this hard work that really started 1 year ago today with our coaching staff. I mean, as soon as this thing ends, they've already started on some 2018 guys, and they're already hooking up with that. And every one of them's on their phone right over there, hopefully tweeting somebody about, you know, next year, which is fantastic. But really, great job by every one of our guys on staff. And, you know, as we've talked about in the past, each guy has a recruiting area. Each guy has, you know, a certain number of high schools. And some years, some guys get more from their area. Some guys, they get a few more guys here and there. But to each of our guys that are on the road, just a fantastic job. We're excited this year. You know, in the last 2 years, we've been able to sign one guy each year from the local high schools. And, you know, we got Devin Gibson the first year, and he turned out to be our starting center. We were able to get, Keyshawn Showers last year from Pine Forest, And now this year to be able to pick up three guys from area high schools, we're ecstatic about that. And I mean, the guys that we got really, we feel just have a tremendous, bright future, moving forward with us. Anthony Johnson, over the course of the last 2 years, one of the top rushers in the state, and has just, you know, had an amazing career at pace. When you're the all-time leading rusher at that school with some of the guys that they've had come out of there, that's a huge accomplishment. Blake Braswell, offensive lineman from Catholic. He played D-line, played some tight end, did a lot of things. But we're excited about what he brings to our offensive line. And then Chantrell Hills out of Escambia. Great pass rusher. They played him a little bit at D-end. We're going to play him at linebacker and really feel like he adds to what we're trying to do. And when we started recruiting in this class, we were trying to hope to get, one of everything, and maybe two if we could, just depending on how the positions would play out. Starting with the offensive line, last year we did not sign a freshman offensive lineman, but this year we found four really, really good ones, and that's exciting. And, starting with Blake in the middle, and then Tommy Canale on the outside, and Mike Dilla on the outside, just some big, young offensive linemen. Both Mike and Tommy, both of those guys are still 17 years old. And so, we had Mike in here, and he was 6'5", 310 pounds. Tommy in here, 6'5", 275 pounds. They've got a great future in front of them. And then, our other inside offensive lineman from down the road, Dalton Simpler. We feel he and Blake really are more interior guys, center guard combination. So to get those four is a great addition for us. Defensive line, there are a couple of young men that are going to be added to this list. We'll go public with them here in a little bit. They're going to announce publicly, but really we end up with 4 defensive linemen. And last year we signed 3 defensive linemen, all 3 who played for us. We feel like out of this class we just continue to grow that D-line and continue to get better with that. One of the young men on here who plays linebacker, his brother played for us last year, Stephen Matthews. He was one of those freshman defensive linemen. Trey Matthews, maybe the most athletic young man of the group. If you turn on his highlight film, you're going to see him doing a lot of things. You're going to see him catching touchdowns. You're going to see him sacking people. You're going to see him, intercepting the ball, coming off the edge on a blitz. He's an exciting addition to our linebacker core. And then really for the first time since our first year, we did sign, a tight end in our first class. We didn't get any in last class. To sign 2 more tight ends and really big athletic guys. Both those guys are former quarterbacks. We plan on getting them in the weight room, plan on giving them an opportunity to get bigger, get stronger. But both Larry Dalabetta as well as Jakari Jackson, both those young men played quarterback, but their futures at tight end. Kind of rounding out the class here, as I've talked about, just want to touch base on a couple of guys. Noah Biggs at linebacker, already mentioned Chantrell, and then Trey Matthews as well at linebacker. Very solid core, and I think when we add our 2 other commitments at D-line, you're going to see a pretty good front 7 that we've created there. On the back end, really we were looking for 1 high school player, possibly 2, and really feel like, again, we got more athletic with Durante Jordan out of Columbia High School there. Very athletic, dynamic player, played corner in high school, probably play a little safety for us, and has an opportunity, I think, to impact us immediately. And then going back over to offense, mentioned the 4 offensive linemen, mentioned Anthony Johnson, and the 2 tight ends, and then at quarterback, Spencer is a guy that we've had in camp 2 times. He's been on campus numerous times. Big, tall quarterback, continues to grow, continues to get bigger, excited about what his future looks like and what he can bring. And then our first class, if you go back, we didn't sign a kicker. Wanted to sign a kicker last year, was able to get Andrew, and then really excited to have Colton join us from right down the road. So kind of a preview of that. I forgot Jared at defensive line. Did not mention him. Thank you, Coach. He's one of the 4 defensive linemen that we have. 2 of them here are on the board. But really a guy, Jared Bruce, who has only played, Coach, he's only played 1 year of football, correct? And really think he's got a great upside. Another tall, lean guy. I think if you pull up some of his highlights, that you'll see there's more of him playing basketball. We had one last night of him getting a rebound and dunking. And so, again, great addition to our defensive line. We do have 3 guys who are on campus that, we didn't announce as this process got going, but they're already working out with us. They're already a part of the team. Samuel Antoine and Clifton Fleming, 2 offensive linemen from Florida who went to another university, Glenville State. They were there a couple of years, found out that it snowed in West Virginia. I don't know if they saw that on their recruiting trip. And at the semester break, they were interested in coming back, and we welcomed them back here. And then T.J. Stokes, a running back that really we recruited a couple years ago and got to know, and went off to an FCS program and then was looking for another opportunity to come back and be a little closer to home, and he chose us. So excited about this class. We still do have a couple of needs that we're looking at, and probably will address those after spring ball, and from the transfer population, and we're on a couple of guys as we speak, moving in that direction. But as we said, really from day one, we're going to build this program with high school players. And, one of the things we said from the beginning is, we're going to start in the 850 area code. And it's taken a couple years to get some momentum to where, guys are starting to see who we are and what this program looks like and what football at UWF looks like. And we just see that number continuing to grow each year, and excited about this class and the future and what they bring to our program. We think so, and I think getting them to a game at Wahoo Stadium on a Saturday afternoon, was probably what, put us over the over the top with most of them. They got an opportunity to see what it looks like. And I'll tell you, even from local high school coaches, they've been great just in their response as to, hey, we saw you play. We saw the type of style that you play, both offensively and defensively. We saw how good the competition was. Man, got a lot of respect for what's taken place, to where now they start understanding why some of the guys were offering and some of the guys were not offering. So I think this season really helped us on all fronts of recruiting, both from the coaches, parents, players. It was a game changer for us.
Is this year better with local talent overall, Pete, when you look at the guys from the bar that have already enrolled, and obviously Leatherwood, and then you go down and the 9 schools today that are having signing events? Was there overall more talent this year than your previous 2 years?
Yeah, I think so. And I think, you just mentioned some really, really good local players. And I mean, anytime, a local player is, considered one of the top 10 in the country, that obviously brings some, national recognition to Pensacola. But also when you look at, I mean, we've always had, since I've been here, even going back 3 years ago when we didn't recruit, I mean, I showed up the day before signing day or the night of signing day and was, read your articles and watching you guys on the news announce where guys are going. Pensacola's always had a very good, group that's going to go somewhere. And I think this year, a little bigger and then a little better opportunity for us as well.
Your class, just like your previous 2, it stands out. You touched all points of the state. You got Naples across, you got Stewart up the state with Jacksonville through the middle with Lake Mary and Gainesville and Lake City, and then across the Panhandle. Can you speak a little bit about how you all have been able to connect from all points of the state to pull prospects here?
Well, it's and I started this with, our staff has just really done a great job. And again, everybody's got an area and everybody's got a place that they're getting to know guys. And, now we're going into year 3 of relationships. And, okay, how does this guy evaluate talent? Do they trust us? Now we've had games on TV that have been shown on, national TV as well as ESPN3. And, the brand is starting to identify itself. And what UWF football is starting to, create some energy and excitement amongst the high school coaches, which then the players are the benefactors of that. Hey, you need to check this out. Hey, Coach Crutch has been in here, for 3 years. Coach Sonye, Coach Deese has been in here for 3 years. They're starting to, connect the dots on that, and they're starting to see what that looks like. And so as we've done that, that is now starting to build the relationships that we didn't have at the beginning, but it's also starting to build trust and awareness as to who we are. And, I mean, we do, I think, a great job of evaluating who's going to fit our program, who's going to really represent, UWF on and off the field in a first-class manner. And when we get that part accomplished, we've obviously looked at film and we feel like they can play for us. It narrows that list a little bit, but we'll take them from everywhere. And, and I've said this a lot. I mean, we primarily focus, Tuscaloosa down to Tampa, but obviously Naples. Last 2 years we've signed somebody from that area, and then going over and getting Mike Dilla on the other coast. We're going to continue to do that. Last year got Corey Johnson and DeChandre Pitts from, down there. So we're going to continue to do that, but just trying to find the right fit and the right person. But, I mean, we're going to scour the state and try to find, the best young men that we can that fit the profile that we're looking for.
Yeah, one of your guys is from Fort Myers. He's enrolled, so there's another area that's got a lot of talent that you've been able to tap into. So I know statewide you probably feel like there's a lot of talent there already.
Well, no, we do. But, when you talk about Naples and you talk about Fort Myers and you talk about, going down that far, I mean, really, Houston is closer. Okay? Now, it's out of state. Okay? So that changes our dynamics a little bit. But, I mean, that person really has to want to be here, and we've got to do a great job. And, I think we did a phenomenal job of just kind of screening guys this year of, okay, who do we say, all right, are we going to fly them in for this recruiting weekend? What are we going to do? Are they really serious about us? Because when you start looking at that, there's a lot to that. And then I think you got to have a great relationship, and in both those, developing a relationship with that young man, with their parents, to say, okay, we get it, you're staying in Florida, but you're still 9 hours away. And do you feel good now about who you're handing your son off to? Because it's not like you're, again, 6 hours, 9 hours, that's a big difference. I mean, it really is. And, when you look at Tampa and Orlando and Jacksonville, all those were within a 6-hour window. Tuscaloosa, the same thing. Now you start going below that. And again, I think our coaches have done a fantastic job of just screening that, finding the right young men for our program, and then, for them to commit to us when, they had options a little closer, that's a great get for us.
You talked about wanting to touch on each spot, basically roster spot, but when you're recruiting your first class, it's almost all comers. But now, how does the recruiting change your goals, your targets, and how did you feel you filled those?
Well, I thought we did very well. And again, last year we didn't get any O-linemen. And use that as an example. Last year we didn't get any O-linemen, but we got 3 wide receivers. This year we got 4 O-linemen and no wide receivers. So you feel good, that within the last 2 years you've been able to address that need. And we did redshirt 2 of those wide receivers, so they're really now thrown into this class, so to speak. And then when you look at defense, you're always going to take the best available defensive lineman that you can get. Every year you're trying to find those bodies that fit what you're looking for. Linebacker's a position that we have a need for, and we think, we're going to have a freshman linebacker play for us next year. We're going to fill that need, and we feel like we've got some guys who are capable of doing that. But every year, you don't want to pass up either, a great high school player and someone that you feel can make your roster better. And, if this year, we didn't get a wide receiver, but we got the O-lineman and the running back and the tight ends that we like, then we'll solve that in the next year's class. And the other thing you don't want to do is take somebody that you're not 100% sold on, and not someone that you're not 100% committed to. And I think that's one of the things that we've really been, kind of a hard stance on. Okay, does he fit what we're looking for? Is he exactly what we want? Okay, if he's not, let's pass, because at some point in time we'll find that. And, when you look at our roster now, when you throw these guys in there and you look at where we are, we've got really good depth. Again, still young depth because of our top 44 last year. I think 31 of them were freshmen or redshirt freshmen. It's somewhere in that number. But that, we're going to add some freshmen, and as I say, we'll have a couple transfers here probably at the end of the semester that'll round this thing out.
So when you get a good athlete like from around this area, they have options to go other places, and it's always, do I want to leave home? Do I want to stay? What do you offer them that ultimately makes them want to stay home, basically, and not get out, spread their wings, and do things other places?
No, and it's a great question because a lot of guys do want to go other places. And obviously we're seeing some young men who have some great opportunities this year, just like the last couple of years. And so, one of the things that we talk about is, obviously we're still building, and there's still an opportunity to be a part of some of the firsts that'll take place with this program. The first season is done, and we've gotten our first victory and our first home victory and first homecoming. But there's a lot of things we still need to do. First winning season, playoffs. There's a lot of things that we desire to accomplish. And so they can be a part of that. The other thing, really, I think it's fun is, the local media gives us, you guys give us a great platform. When the 3 guys who committed to us locally, when they did that, I mean, it was picked up by TV, by the newspaper. I mean, and that's fun. And as a matter of fact, I told a couple of them, I said, look, when you commit to us, I promise you that's going to get retweeted, within about 50 minutes. okay? And here's what it's going to look like. I can't do it. I can't touch it, but here's who's going to do it, okay? Channel 3 is going to do it. The PNJ is going to, I mean, this is what's going to happen, okay? And you're just going to see it. And so when that happens, then they go, oh, wow. And I said, look, you go someplace else and, you get 2 sacks in a game, it may be third, fourth line. You get 2 sacks here, Blake Norwood intercepts 2 balls. You'd think he was, the greatest thing since sliced bread that week, okay? And that's exciting for a local player. And we have that. We got great coverage. We got, phenomenal opportunities for them. And we play off that. There you go. Let's turn this thing around, so.
Flash wanted to know, he thinks he's still got some eligibility left. Do you have any need for him?
Still working on that, We had compliance in here earlier, going through some forms. He thinks he has eligibility. We're checking his clock.
Our show's full, Tom.
No, thank you all.